Hi. For the most part, Roborock is best known for their robot vacuums. However, now they are expanding into a bit of a new territory, launching their first washing machines. I've been using the mid-range model called Zeo Lite of their new lineup of machines for a little over a month. And so, yeah, is it good? And is it worth the fairly high price tag of about 899 euros? Firstly, the Zeo Lite is one of 3 models in Roborock's Zeo lineup. It sits right between the compact Zeo Mini and the flagship Zeo 1. In terms of capacity, both the Lite and the 1 can handle 11 kilograms of laundry and dry up to 6 kilograms of washing, while the Mini model is much more niche with a tiny 1 kilogram wash and a 0.5 kilogram drying capacity. Functionality-wise, the Zeo Lite and the Zeo 1 are nearly identical, and the main differences is that the Zeo 1 has a larger touch display, a slightly more premium design, depending on how you see it though, and the fact that it uses heat-based bacterial sterilization, where the Zeo Lite instead uses UVC light for sanitation, which works well in practice and still gives you peace of mind when it comes to hygiene. At least I suppose it does, since I haven't really been able to do any bacterial or not bacterial tests here, but there is at least a blue light shining on the washing, which I guess looks cool if nothing else. Moving on, installing the Zeo Lite is straightforward and basically like installing any other washing machine. Weight is a pretty hefty 83 kilograms, so you probably don't want to drag it around that much. The bottom part is completely open, and you also get these optional to mount noise cancelling strips to help reduce vibration. They do indeed stick nicely to the machine with a very effective adhesive, but they are a little finicky to get correctly positioned. The manual and other instructions are fair and goes through most things you need to know. A big plus here is also that you can't even get a hold of the power cord unless you first remove the transit bolt holding it in place, and then of course also remove the other 3 bolts before installing the actual machine. Roborock are no strangers to automation. Here the Zeo Lite offers automatic detergent and softener dosing, where you're supposed to be able to just fill the tanks up and then leave the machine for up to 30 days without meddling with it again. However, just doing 1 wash a day, these 30 days quickly becomes a fair bit less. Still though, the convenience factor is really high here to not have to mess around with stupid liquids before every wash. The little downside here though is that both the detergent and softener compartments share a single pull-out tray, making cleaning and swapping out one of the products really tricky without simply just pouring out the other one in the process. Controlling the machine is done through a physical dial and touch-sensitive buttons on the upper front. The build quality is decent, the dial feels a bit plasticky, but everything has been working reliably and without any issues. There's also Wi-Fi connectivity here, and the Zeo Lite integrates with the same Roborock app that the company use for their vacuum cleaners. Here the app is decently functional and fairly intuitive to use. It allows you to start or pause washers, update the machine's firmware, mute the mad loud button beep sound, and receive reminders for running cleaning programs, etc. One somewhat stupid thing here though is that a few settings, like the one with the button noise as well as the one adjusting the actual dose of detergent or softener, can only be accessed via the app and not on the actual machine, which I find a bit odd. In terms of performance though, the Zeo Lite delivers a fair result. Clothes come out really clean, bedding extremely rarely gets tangled, and the drying process also feels relatively gentle, which is also what it's supposed to be and also a main selling point of this machine, since it uses some kind of Zeo Lite material for drying clothes and garments in lower temperatures. That said, and looking at the times of the washing and the drying, while normal washes does have a fair max length of just over 2-ish hours, the drying can sometimes take quite a bit longer, especially if you pick the Cupboard Plus setting, where 4 or 5 hours is not uncommon. Luckily though, the normal cupboard settings does leave the washing dry enough to be put away right away and reduces the time a fair bit here. Worth noticing here is also that the estimated time for a program changes a lot during the actual drying and cleaning process as well. As for noise levels, these are reasonable, and overall the machine is relatively quiet, even while spinning in its maximum 1400 RPMs. The drying process, however, does have a bit of a deep humming to it, but as long as you're not sitting right next to the machine, it is not out of the ordinary loud in any way whatsoever. As for warranty, Roborock offers between 1 to 2 years depending on country, and they also include a 10-year warranty on the motor, which is nice, not the best in the business, but totally normal and fair. So all in all, I do like the Roborock Zeo Lite. It is a pretty solid washer-dryer combo. Everything is not perfect though, and especially the fact that some settings are only accessible through the app is a bit odd. The combo drawer cleaning problems are also not great, as well as that the drying times are a bit longer than normal. However though, the Zeo Lite is absolutely not a bad machine. On the contrary, I would say that it is actually a perfectly decent washer and dryer combo for those looking to save some space. The price, however, is a bit rough. Luckily though, all the machines in the Zeo lineup seems to be dropping about 100 to 150 euros every now and then since launch, and for those discounted prices, it is a way better deal than the release price that in my opinion feels a tad high. Alright, those are my thoughts on the Roborock Zeo Lite. Please share any of your thoughts or questions in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you for watching. Bye!